Hey everyone, it's David with Ballet Talk. Um, my name is David King and I'm the owner and creator of A Ballet Education and that whole family and brand that goes together. I decided to start the podcast back up, not because I felt like I didn't have time last season to do a podcast. And then after consulting myself, I realized that, it would probably be a lot easier to do a podcast and YouTube versus trying to write and edit all day. Yeah. So I'm not trying to say I'm taking an easy way out, but I'm definitely trying to make my life a little bit easier. And it's a little bit janky of me, but I'm also voice recording on my fancy mic, courtesy of Best Buy, for the podcast. Okay, so this entire week, A Ballet Education is celebrating 1 year, or 12 years. Wow, 1 year. It's 12 years of A Ballet Education, and having 12 years and an entire generation come up through A Ballet Education, whether that was through the sticker club or the stickers and planners that started 6 years ago, or the magazine and blog, or photographing students at Youth America Grand Prix finals. It's just been a crazy, crazy wild ride. But specifically, I wanted to kind of go back through the last year since I haven't podcasted or created content really in a year. Mostly because I was a little bit embarrassed. I really did feel when we lost the studio space, I kind of felt like I had failed everything. Like I had failed parents, students. I would like to think of myself as a decent business entrepreneur. I take on multiple marketing and PR clients. And it kind of just felt like not necessarily imposter syndrome, but I really felt like I had kind of come undone. So that was, February of 2024. Yeah. So a year and some months later, here we are. And so I kind of wanted to just do a brief catch up of a year of A Ballet Education or a year in my life. So, the crazy part is that over the last year, I've been able to pay off a lot of the studio debt. And then through really hard work and really, really budgeting, I reopened up a new space, built out floors, mirrors, the whole 9 yards. So that is really crazy. I also got married, so which is how life goes, right? Is at my lowest point, I got to meet my husband. So, silver linings and all of that. He also is the one who helped me set up all of this. No, so that was super great. I got married, built out a new studio. We released, a whole new planner box. If you got the planner box, it's really cute. If you didn't, they're sold out, and I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. But I just wanted to go through a year of A Ballet Education and celebrate 12 years of crazy ballet. You know what I mean? I mean, it is quite crazy, right? So right now, all of you are probably at your summer intensives and you're probably all training really hard. Most of you are definitely stacking up your CV. Bravo on you. Parents, it might be a nice little break for you, unless you're one of those parents who went with your kid for 5 weeks. Not exactly sure. But let's kick it off. So if you are listening to this via the podcast, you can't really see all the visuals, but feel free to head over to YouTube. But to celebrate 1 year, or, oh my God, wow. To celebrate 12 years of a ballet education, anyone who orders while supplies last will get my celebration sticker pack, which are disco stickers in a multiple variety of colors. Wow, I really feel like an influencer right now, trying to be like, is it in focus? But so there are 6 glitter stickers in total that you could receive if you order stickers from the website this month. While supplies last. I think there's like 50 sets. Not exactly sure. Okay, so the best way to recap an entire year is to consult my handy dandy ballet planner. So this was the 24-25 season planner, and we're celebrating like being golden, and the cover is the kiss from Sleeping Beauty Act 3 Padada. Yeah. It is kind of crazy to be like, I made this. But yeah. Festive. So if you did get this one, what is kind of fun is that there were the ballet history timelines throughout the book. Also, or throughout the planner, but I turned those timelines into a book. So if you are feeling festive and want to learn more about ballet history, you can download my new book that came out on July 1st, A Brief Ballet History in the Beginning. It's really cute. I think it's really cute. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, do people even like this? This is the problem with being like a creative and a business person, is you kind of just don't know if it's gonna work or not work. Yeah, my planner, festive. Let's see if I met any of my goals. I did register my students for Youth America Grand Prix. I did do 12 months of the sticker club, so high five to me. Yeah, winter intensive PR. Going to the gym every day didn't happen. Didn't happen. And now I'm paying the price. And yeah, this morning my husband and I, we went to the gym together because this week I'm off, and we were both like, we really need to get back to the gym. Both admitting that, you know, we have not gone to the gym since getting married. You know, the happy weight. Launched a new planner. Yep, did all of that. Consistently released new products. Yep, did all of that. Whether or not you all bought them, different story. But every month I did put out new products. Content for Instagram subscribers. That's a check. You can subscribe on Instagram for I think like $2.99. Every month I upload 9 ballet combos for you to do or teach. I did not create a shorthand because I already know my shorthand. I've been journaling and what's it called? Keeping planners since I was 13. You can't see them, but they're all right here. I know. But you can literally pull out any one of these planners and see what I was doing at any given point of my life. Yeah. Kind of crazy, right? Okay, so skip that. In August, oh yeah, that was super sucky. So in August, we were supposed to move into a new space, and then we found out that the complex had double leased, and so we showed up with our contractor, and they showed up with their contractor, and everyone was really confused. So we had a really big delay about that. Luckily, we moved into another smaller space, and it kind of worked out. So that's awesome. Also in August, I photographed the Southland Gala, so that was really cool. Yeah. This is a picture of me watching Baryshnikov's Nutcracker when I was 3, 4, 3, I think 3. I don't know. I'm wearing overalls. I mean, suspenders and Oshkosh Bagosh shoes. Yeah, this was. We were supposed to start on 8/8 with the contractor. That obviously didn't happen. But that's one of the photos that I took of Agi Cisco from Lines at the Southland Gala. So with my planner, I try to print one picture every week. Yeah, this is my life. So basically, I use the Canon IV printer. Oh, it's right here. Haha. So I use this. It's a portable printer, and you can print from your iPhone with the Canon sheets. The link will be somewhere in this podcast. I don't know. Whatever. I'm trying to be really organized. I'm not. And then this is what my planner looks like for August. As you can see, I started dating Carlos this week. I think we went to dinner every day that week. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be that way, but it was. Oh yeah, I guess I launched my digital art gallery. That was also really cool. So high five to me. Super great. This was like my social media blitz week. So at the beginning of every season, I definitely hammer out a bunch of content for people. It also gives me time to breathe. So all summer long, I make content and prepare it so that way I can dump it. Yeah, so that was August. September, my business partner and I got our first mock-ups for a leotard line, and the samples were terrible. But yeah, I guess that's all down the way. That was festive. In September, I also had an interview with the Ballet Herald, which for the illustrated fundamental book. However, I don't think an article ever got published. So that's the thing about publishing, right? Which is why I'm not even offended, because when we ran the magazine, we would do so many interviews and just things would come up or things needed to get bumped or the content didn't work. It's also kind of why I stopped doing a magazine. Actually, I stopped doing the magazine because of a ballet company somewhere in America. We paid a crap ton of money to go to this company, and we flew out equipment and backdrops and all these things only to show up to cover a new ballet that was about to premiere. And then when we showed up to photograph them for the cover article and this whole thing, the costume department had nothing done. So the editorial content writer and myself, we ended up running around this city buying a crap ton of clothing in men's and women's wear to kind of match whatever. It was just a terrible experience. That's actually why we ended the magazine, because we dropped almost $6,000. Yeah, we dropped almost $6,000 and nothing came of it, and it kind of defaulted. Our advertisers were super unhappy because when you do plan a content calendar, the advertisers are paying for specific people on the cover for specific viewership, and it did not go well. It backfired. Had to refund an entire advertising budget. It's crazy. Anywho's, I guess I did that. Oh, I also did a bazillion point shoe fittings in September for studios around Arizona. That was Serenade week with my Serenade stickers. Opening photo shoot, yep, successful. Spooky photo shoot, yep, that was successful. Took on a new client, did a bunch of privates. on October 18th, my husband and I officially tied the knot. It was actually really funny is in Arizona, you are supposed to get your marriage license ahead of time. And so we didn't realize that after COVID, the way appointments were going, they were actually quite difficult or kind of difficult to get. So we had called that Friday to try to get an appointment to get our marriage certificate because we weren't planning on getting married till December. And we walked in to do like a walk-in appointment. And figured we were gonna wait all day, and literally no one was there, and we just like walked right in. And then the girl was like, are you trying to get married today? And we were like, what? Huh? I was also off that Friday. Well, no, I wasn't. I still had ballet class. She goes, we have appointments. We have one appointment open if you want to get married this afternoon when the courthouse closes. And so we decided to say, sure, why not? Let's do it. I taught ballet class, and while I was teaching ballet class, I was getting ready to go to City Hall and get married, and then Carlos came, picked me up, and finished Grand Allegro and Reverence, and pieced out and got married. No, but it was a really, really nice day. It was really, really great. His best friend happened to be in town, and the Pickerings, Jackie and Colin Pickering, who are the parents of Belle and Harry Pickering, and Chess Pickering, who's like a famous dog trainer. But Jackie and Colin were able to come down and be my witnesses, and his best friend was there, so yeah, it was perfect. And then funny enough, his family was in town the following day, so we went to dinner. Yeah, see, this is why I like planners. I can go back through and look at everything. The next week I went to a pumpkin patch. Okay, this is really not exciting. I need to like fast forward. We had exams, birthdays, all of that shenanigans. I really love my planner. I feel like everyone should use a planner. I don't know if people have told their students and their kids that they're supposed to write down their corrections. But that's actually how my journal keeping started, is because I started writing down corrections, and then I started writing down things that inspired me or things that I really did need to remember. And that's kind of that. And then what happened with these planners, again, talking about like celebrating 12 years, during COVID, I was super bored. And this is when everyone was using Zoom keys and Zoom passes and all of these things. And there was like no way to keep track of them. And then everyone was at home trying to work out. So I made a planner to keep track of all these things. And also like to keep you working out and motivated. And every month a new planner came out, and you know, I thought it was ridiculous that people were paying for these monthly planners. I really did. And if you bought one, I'm super thankful. But it was just really inconvenient to go through it every month, and then if something was delayed. So then one of my colleagues actually recommended making a yearly planner. So this one is our 5th yearly planner, which is really great. And we're moving on to our 6th yearly planner for the 2025-2026 season, which was voted by all of you to be Don Q themed, which was really cute, I guess. It's all like lace and black and red and white and gold. But what I do think is funny is that, like, I think on the Instagram poll we had close to like 1,000 people vote between Don Q and Corsair. I think those are the 2 big ones. But what was funny is only 200 people ordered planners. But I get it. These planners are expensive. These planners are so expensive. And truthfully, if I knew a cheaper way to make a 245 page or 244 page full color planner, I would. And if I was a multi-million-dollar business, I probably would be able to produce these for cheaper. However, I am not. So unfortunately, these made in America, well, no, not unfortunate that these are made in America. These planners that are made in America right now, unfortunately, I can't come down on the cost, which I know outprices things, and I know that's like ironic or terrible that I'm constantly the one who's like, make ballet accessible and affordable, and then here I am selling, you know, a super expensive planner and pack. I tried to make the pack as cheap as possible. The pack though this year was really, really great. This year's planner pack had the planner, Le Pens, midliners, 12 sticker sheets, a keychain. Like, I really did try to go all out. And just to let you all know, like, I make like $4 off of a planner. It's not like I'm like raking it in. But I also really just make these planners for me. Like, I know that sounds really terrible because I make them for all of you, but really it's for me to stay organized for the season, especially as a ballet teacher and running a ballet education and just trying to keep my life organized and my clients' lives organized. I really do try hard in that sense, especially when you're juggling, you know, 6 or 7 different people's social medias. You do have to be organized, and so having a planner like this really does help me plan people's content and meeting and private lessons and photo shoots, and also just visually it lets me see the week. And I know technology's out there and it's really, really great, but for me, you know, the tech is probably, just because I type it into my phone doesn't mean I remember it, per se. I know that sounds really bad, but just me and the tech does not help me remember things. And also, you know, MIT just released that study that people who rely on AI, right, like their brain function decreases by quite a bit. Yeah, that's a thing. Also, if you didn't know, AI uses a lot of, you know, water, which is, you know, a natural resource we need. Anyways, I'm sidetracking, and that this is definitely not about politics. This is just talking about celebrating 12 years of ballet education. No, but it is super crazy to look at, right? And to look at, you know, everything that I created this year. I had just gone over the planner, but like if you look at like the sticker club, just all of the content that I've made for the sticker club, I've made 3 keychains, 6 washi tapes, 66 sticker sheets, 22 die cuts, plus 2 extra journals for Corsair and Nutcracker. And it's crazy because each sticker sheet, right, has between 10 and 12 illustrations on it. So you do the math, it's quite a lot. Yeah, 6 keychains, really crazy. If you got one of the keychains at final, super great. If you got one of the keychains from the Nutcracker planner or a keychain from, you know, any of the monthly sticker club packs, I think they're really swell. I don't actually use any of my keychains because my house does not use a key. My house is very tech savvy and uses like digital everything. No, but it is kind of crazy and unique. Okay, anyways, that's enough about me. Let's talk about a whole year of ballet. This season has been rather crazy because it was probably one of the tightest job markets. It also doesn't help that a lot of government funding for the arts was restricted. A lot of the DEI money that was being collected from ballet companies as businesses were restricted. So a lot of things played into this season's finances. But but it also kind of played like a bigger part across the board for all of us who own ballet schools, because as you saw the economy tightening, it wasn't just ballet, right? As you saw the economy tightening, you saw people pulling back. I think one of the biggest pullbacks this year that I could see was the ballet competitive scene. I think a lot more people put their money into auditions, which is super great. It's something that I've been saying you all should be doing. You should put your money into audition season versus competition season. So overall, this year was definitely just like a year of WTFs. We also had like a really big change up in terms of artistic directors. We saw, many artistic directors leave this season, many new ones coming in. We saw companies being a little bit more transparent with their finances. Actually, just this week, ballet companies in Australia posted their losses, which were like huge, like $9 million losses on the season. And talking about like these finances, it's really tricky, right? Because no one wants to be like, I failed being a business person. I just said that. But the reality is that every year these ballet companies are having huge losses. Well, not huge, but most ballet companies are having losses every year, which kind of speaks to what I've said over the last 12 years, that the business model of ballet needs to change. And, we are starting to see some of these changes with the multi-location schools or ballet schools kind of becoming a franchise. And or part of a corporation. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I actually want to say that it leans on a better thing, with the exception of pricing people out. Because that's what a lot of like utility companies and repair people, a lot of them open multiple businesses within the same city. And all their calls kind of go to the same place and or an answering service. That way, when you're quoted one thing that's really high, you're going to call someone in that same business circle for a quote that's going to sound way lower, way cheaper, and you're going to think it's a deal and go with that. And that is how a lot of these things work. It's kind of like the whole, Gap, Banana Republic, Old Navy circle, or Michael Kors, MK by Michael Kors, MK. Even Polo has multiple lines, right? You have Polo, Ralph Lauren, Purple Label, Polo, Ralph Lauren. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing if the people in charge know what they're doing, but you're definitely starting to see it across multiple platforms through the competition scene, even through dance apparel brands. You're seeing multiple apparel brands start creating and I'm not talking about like small capsule collections, that they're just making a secondary brand that is either more high-end or less high-end, or more geared towards one person or another. But you can see that the business of ballet is slowly evolving, which is kind of, festive for some. But this year in ballet, I feel mostly was mentally exhausting for everyone. Everyone was kind of tired of hearing the same old stuff day in, day out, which is, we're so lucky to be in the arts, but not, and then constantly facing, reprimands about DEI, and then a old video, resurfaced of a ballet company with a dancer in a fat suit, and that created issues. And I think like the biggest, and you hear all the time, like the dancers are being abused. So many companies this year went union, which, I don't think is a good or bad thing either. It's just a thing. But you hear more and more of these stories. And I think the big issue that we all have, or what most people have in ballet, is that I think most people are just wanting an apology. Yeah, I think most people are just wanting to hear being like, yeah, I effed it up. Our company effed it up. Our company maybe in the past was deep-seated in racism or misogyny, but, it is just hearing that apology and talking about ballet and art, or especially dance right now, being a boys' club, it's really funny is when I research the history of ballet and when I'm writing these books, like if in if in the Renaissance a 14-year-old girl can change the course of dance and becomes the first patron and the largest patron of ballet, um, like high five, founded by a woman. Same with Lucia Chase at ABT, or all these things, and you kind of realize that women have always been there since the beginning. Marie Solé. I should really know how to say that. Sorry, I'm like trying to visualize my own book. Was the first female choreographer, and that was, oh duh, I could just pull up my book on my laptop. Wow. Wow. Was the first female choreographer, and this woman has always been there, and Marie Camargo also has always been there. But this is 1700. And so you look at the history of ballet and you look how systematically women have been pushed down, even though they've always been there from the beginning, choreographing, costume designing, performing. And you see how through social circumstance, through the economic climate of the time, through, unfortunately, religion and political reform, you see how these women are pushed down, or not these women, but women in general are pushed down, and you're kind of left with a what have we learned from history moment and or whatever. But the issue isn't just like posting on social media and being like, moving forward, we're dedicating 1 out of every 3 choreographers we hire to be female. I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is just straight up issuing an apology and just being like, yeah, we effed up. But that's the thing about ballet, is that we keep trying to hold on to these traditions, and we keep trying to hold on to like the randomness of one thing or another. And a lot of these traditions really do hold us back. And a lot of these traditions really aren't necessarily for the best. But, we are trying to take every day, one day at a time. Or at least I am. That's like my new motto. But, moving forward, I really hope one of my goals is to be way more consistent with creating content. So putting the podcast out there and trying to keep up with it. And same with these videos for YouTube. I hope they work. I hope they don't work. I don't know. Who knows? It's a lot of work trying to make content. But yeah, it was a rough year, I think, overall for everyone. You saw it with the way scholarships were given out at finals. You saw it with the way jobs were given, just across the board. But we'll see. We'll see what this new season brings. I will definitely have more commentary coming soon. Again, you're more than welcome to write into me. My email address is david@aballeteducation.com. Feel free to use our free dictionary, theballetdictionary.com. It's a digital dictionary that was illustrated by myself. It's not fully complete because I haven't finished the second technique book, because I didn't realize how hard drawing every ballet step was going to be step by step. But that book will be coming out soon. Ballet history book is out. The sticker club, feel free to join. It's $24 a month. I lied, it's $24.99 a month. Every month you get a bunch of sticker sheets, and or like keychains, post-it notes, etc. if you're a stationary person. If you're not a stationary person, my feelings are not hurt. I do recommend it though for ballet teachers. They're really great to give to your kids after class or do student of the month. And you can give away that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this upcoming season with you, and I hope to do a live every week. Not a live, a podcast / episode on the YouTube. I'm probably not going to edit this video because it takes too long and I have a school to run and stickers to do and a million other things. Okay, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back again. And that was a year recap. Sorry, I have been gone for a year, but I'm back.